Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California again on Words and Wisdom Wednesday. We are going to read through some of William J. Bennett's book, The Book of Virtues. William J. Bennett gives commentary and edit. Uh, we are on 1727. So I am here on this many consecutive days, morsels of a thought of wisdom. Hopefully, that we learn the right things to do because knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom. And then actually taking the magic action to do it is virtue. We're bringing more virtue into the world with morsels of a thought of wisdom from other people, not me, and we learn what these people say through their experiences or what stories they state through their eyes. And let me adjust the camera a little bit. I can't stand it when it's not. And here we go. We're reading how much land does a man need? Leo Tolstoy. This story by Leo Tolstoy, says William J. Bennett, 1828 to 1910 is when Leo Tolstoy lived. This story was written in 1886. In its fundamental physical action is a marvelous metaphor for the need for us to set definite boundaries on our own appetites. There once was a peasant named Pahom who worked hard, P-A-H-O-M, who worked hard and honestly for his family, but who had no land of his own. So he always remained as poor as the next man. Quote, busy as we are from childhood tilling Mother Earth, he often thought, we peasants will always die as we are living with nothing of our own. If only we had our own land, it would be different. End quote. Now, close to Pahom's village, there lived a lady, a small landowner, who had an estate of about 300 acres. One winter, the news got about that the lady was going to sell her land. Pahom heard that a neighbor of his was buying 50 acres and that the lady had consented to accept one half in cash and to wait a year for the other half. Look at that, Pahom thought. The land is being sold, and I shall get none of it. So he spoke to his wife. Other people are buying it, and we must also buy 20 acres or so. Life is becoming impossible without land of our own. So they put their heads together and considered how they could manage to buy it. They had 100 rubles laid by. They sold a colt and one half of their bees, hired out one of their sons as a laborer, and took his wages in advance. They borrowed the rest from a brother in law, and so scraped together half the purchase money. Having done this, Pahom chose a farm of 40 acres, some of it wooded, and went to the lady and bought it. So now Pahom had land of his own. He borrowed seed and sowed it, and the harvest was a good one. Within a year, he had managed to pay off his debts to the lady and his brother in law. So he became a landowner, plowing and sowing his own land, making hay on his own land, cutting his own trees, and feeding his cattle on his own pasture. When he went out to plow his fields, or to look at his growing corn, or at his meadows, his heart would fill with joy. The grass that grew and the flowers that bloomed there seemed to him unlike any that grew elsewhere. Formerly, when he had passed by that land, it had appeared the same as any other land, but now it seemed quite different. Then one day Pahom was sitting at home when a peasant passing through the village happened to stop in. Pahom asked him where he came from, and the stranger answered that he came from beyond the Volga, that's a river, where he had been working. One word led to another, and the man went on to say that much land was for sale there, and that many people were moving there to buy it. The land was so good, he said, that the rye sown on it grew as high as a horse, and so thick that 5 cuts of a sickle made a sheaf. One peasant, he said, brought nothing with him but his bare hands, and now he had 6 horses and 2 cows of his own. Pahom's heart was filled with desire. Why should I suffer in this narrow hole, he thought, if one can live so well elsewhere? I will sell my land and my homestead here, and with the money I will start fresh over there and get everything new. So Pahom sold his land and homestead and cattle, all at a profit, and moved his family to the new settlement. Everything the peasant had told him was true, and Pahom was 10 times better off than he had been. He bought plenty of arable land and pasture, and could keep as many head of cattle as he liked. At first, in the bustle of building and settling down, Pahom was pleased with it all. But when he got used to it, he began to think that even here he was not satisfied. He wanted to sow more wheat, but had not enough land of his own for the purpose. So he rented extra land for 3 years. The seasons turned out well, and the crops were good, so that he began to lay money by. He might have gone on living comfortably, but he grew tired of having to rent other people's land every year and having to scramble to pay for it. If it were all my own land, Pahom thought, I should be independent, and there would not be all this unpleasantness. We are reading from the Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett, a treasury of great moral stories. And he is the commentator and editor. We are reading in here How Much Land Does a Man Need by Leo Tolstoy. Then one day a passing land dealer said he was just returning from the land of Bakshirs, far away, Bashkir, Bashkirs, far away, where he had bought 13,000 acres of land, all for only 1,000 rubles. All one need do is make friends with the chiefs, he said. I gave away about 100 rubles worth of dressing gowns and carpets, besides a case of tea, and I gave wine to those who would drink it, and I got the land for less than 2 pence an acre. There now, thought Pahom. Out there, I can get more than 10 times as much land as I have now. I must try it. So Pahom left his family to look after the homestead and started on the journey, taking his servant with him. They stopped at a town on their way and bought a case of tea, some wine, and other presents as the tradesman had advised him. On and on they went until they had gone more than 300 miles, and on the 7th day they came to a place where the Bashkirs had pitched their tents. Bashkirs. As soon as they saw Pahom, they came out of their tents and gathered around their visitor. They gave him tea and kumis, Kumiss, and had a sheep killed and gave him mutton to eat. Paham took presents out of his cart and distributed them and told them he had come about some land. The Bashkirs seemed very glad and told him he must talk to their chief about it. So they sent for him and explained to him why Pahom had come. The chief listened for a while, then made a sign with his head for them to be silent, and addressing himself to Pahom, said, Well, let it be so. Choose whatever piece of land you like. We have plenty of it. And what will be the price? Asked Pahom. Our price is always the same, 1,000 rubles a day. Pahom did not understand. A day? What measure is that? How many acres would that be? We do not know how to reckon it out, said the chief. We sell it by the day. As much as you can go round on your feet in a day is yours, and the price is 1,000 rubles a day. Pahom was surprised. But in a day you can get around a large tract of land, he said. The chief laughed. It will all be yours, said he, but there is one condition. If you don't return on the same day to the spot whence you started, your money is lost. But how am I to mark the way that I have gone? Why, we shall go to any spot you like and stay there. You must start from that spot and make your round, taking a spade with you. Wherever you think necessary, make a mark. At every turning, dig a hole and pile up the turf. Then afterward, we will go round with a plow from hole to hole. You may take as large a circuit as you please, but before the sun sets, you must return to the place you started from. All the land you cover will be yours. Pahom was delighted. It was decided to start early next morning. They talked a while, and after drinking some more kumis and eating some more mutton, they had tea again, and then the night came on. They gave Pahom a feather bed to sleep on, and the Bashkirs dispersed for the night, promising to assemble the next morning at daybreak and ride out before sunrise to the appointed spot. Pahom lay on the feather bed, but could not sleep. He kept thinking about the land. What a large tract I will mark off, thought he. I can easily do 35 miles in a day. The days are long now, and within a circuit of 35 miles, what a lot of land there will be. I will sell the poorer land or let it to peasants, but I'll pick out the best and farm it. I will buy 2 ox teams and hire 2 more laborers. About 150 acres shall be plow land, and I will pasture cattle on the rest. Looking round, he saw through the open door that the dawn was breaking. It's time to wake them up, thought he. We ought to be starting. He got up, roused his man who was sleeping in his cart, bade him harness, and went to call the Bashkirs, Bashkirs. Now, Bade is pronounced bad, and it's the past tense of bid. Bid him good night, bade him good night. It's spelled Bade, but it's pronounced bad. It's time to go to the steppe to measure the land, he said. The Bashkirs rose and assembled, and the chief came too. Then they began drinking kumis again and offered Pahom some tea, but he would not wait. If we are to go, let us go. It is high time, said he. The Bashkirs got ready and they all started, some mounted on horses and some in carts. Pahom drove his own small cart with his servant and took a spade with him. When they reached the steppe, the morning red was beginning to kindle. They ascended a hillock and, dismounting from their carts and their horses, gathered in one spot. The chief came up to Pahom and stretched out his arm toward the plain. See, he said, all this as far as your eye can reach is ours. You may have any part of it you like. Pahom's eyes glistened. It was all virgin soil, as flat as the palm of your hand, as black as the seed of a poppy, and in the hollows, different kinds of grasses grew breast high. The chief took off his fur cap. The chief took off his fox fur cap, placed it on the ground, and said, this will be the mark. Start from here and return here again. All the land you go round shall be yours. Pahom took out his money and put it on the cap. Then he took off his outer coat, remaining in his sleeveless undercoat. He unfastened his girdle and tied it tight below his stomach, put a little bag of bread into the breast of his coat, and Tying a flask of water to his girdle, he drew up the tops of his boots, took the spade from his man, and stood ready to start. He considered for some moments which way he had better go. It was tempting everywhere. No matter, he concluded, I will go toward the rising sun. He turned his face to the east, stretched himself, and waited for the sun to appear above the rim. I must lose no time, he thought, and it is easier walking while it is still cool. The sun's rays had hardly flashed above the horizon before Pahom, carrying the spade over his shoulder, went down into the steppe. S-T-P-E-P-P-E. Pahom started walking neither slowly nor quickly. After having gone 1,000 yards, he stopped, dug a hole, and placed pieces of turf one on another to make it more visible. Then he went on, and now that he had walked off his stiffness, he quickened his pace. After a while, he dug another hole. We are reading morsels of a thought of wisdom, hopefully that we learn the right things to do, because knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom, and then actually doing it is the magic of turning it into virtue. So we are reading Morsels of a Thought, number 1727, and we're reading Leo Tolstoy. I have to look back to see the title precisely. How much land does a man need? Just wanted to make sure I got it right. Okay. Pahom started walking neither slowly nor quickly. After a while, he dug another hole. Pahom looked back. The hillock could be distinctly seen in the sunlight with the people on it and the glittering tires of the cart wheels. At a rough guess, Pahom concluded that he had walked 3 miles. It was growing warmer. He took off his undercoat, flung it across his shoulder, and went on again. It had grown quite warm now. He looked at the sun. It was time to think of breakfast. The first shift is done, but there are 4 in a day, and it is too soon yet to turn. But I will just take off my boots, said he to himself. He sat down, took off his boots, stuck them into his girdle, and went on. It was easy walking now. I will go on for another 3 miles, thought he, and then turn to the left. This spot is so fine that it would be a pity to lose it. The further one goes, the better the land seems. He went straight on for a while, and when he looked round, the hillock was scarcely visible, and the people on it looked like black ants, and he could just see something glistening there in the sun. Ah, thought Pahom, I have gone far enough in this direction. It is time to turn. Besides, I am in a regular sweat and very thirsty. He stopped, dug a large hole, and heaped up pieces of turf. Next, he untied his flask, had a drink, and then turned sharply to the left. He went on and on. The grass was high and it was very hot. Pahom began to grow tired. He looked at the sun and saw that it was noon. Well, he thought, I must have a rest. He sat down and ate some bread and drank some water, but he did not lie down, thinking that if he did, he might fall asleep. After sitting a little while, he went on again. At first, he walked easily. The food had strengthened him, but it had become terribly hot, and he felt sleepy. Still, he went on, thinking, an hour to suffer, a lifetime to live. He went a long way in this direction also, and was about to turn to the left again when he perceived a damp hollow. It would be a pity to leave that out, he thought. Flax would do well there. So he went on past the hollow and dug a hole on the other side of it before he turned the corner. Pahom looked toward the hillock. The heat made the air hazy. It seemed to be quivering, and through the haze the people on the hillock could scarcely be seen. Ah, thought Pahom, I have made the sides too long. I must make this one shorter. And he went along the third side, stepping faster. He looked at the sun. It was nearly halfway to the horizon, and he had not yet done 2 miles of the third side of the square. He was still 10 miles from the goal. No, he thought, Though it will make my land lopsided, I must hurry back in a straight line now. I might go too far, and as it is, I have a great deal of land. So Pahom hurriedly dug a hole and turned straight toward the hillock. Pahom went straight toward the hillock, but he now walked with difficulty. He was done up with the heat, his bare feet were cut and bruised, and his legs began to fail. He longed to rest, but it was impossible if he meant to get back before sunset. The sun waits for no man, and it was sinking lower and lower. Oh dear, he thought, if only I had not blundered, trying for too much. What if I am too late? He looked toward the hillock and at the sun. He was still far from his goal, and the sun was already near the rim. Pahom walked on and on. It was very hard walking, but he went quicker and quicker. He pressed on, but was still far from the place. He began running, threw away his coat, his boots, his flask, and his cap, and kept only the spade, which he used as a support. What shall I do? He thought again. I have grasped too much and ruined the whole affair. I can't get there before the sun sets. And this fear made him still more breathless. Pahom went on running. His soaking shirt and trousers stuck to him, and his mouth was parched. His breast was working like a blacksmith's bellows. His heart was beating like a hammer, and his legs were giving way as if they did not belong to him. Pahom was seized with terror lest he should die of the strain. Though afraid of death, he could not stop. After having run all that way, they will call me a fool if I stop now, thought he, and he ran on, and drew near and heard the Bashkirs yelling and shouting to him, and their cries inflamed his heart still more. He gathered his last strength and ran on. The sun was close to the rim, and cloaked in mist looked large and red as blood. Now, yes, now it was about to set. The sun was quite low, but he was also quite near his aim. Pahom could already see the profile on the hillock waving their arm. Could see the people on the hillock waving their arms to hurry him up. He could see the fox fur cap on the ground and the money on it, and the chief sitting on the ground holding his sides. There is plenty of land, thought he, but will God let me live on it? I have lost my life. I have lost my life. I shall never reach that spot. Paham looked at the sun, which had reached the earth. One side of it had already disappeared. With all his remaining strength, he rushed on, bending his body forward so that his legs could hardly follow fast enough to keep him from falling. Just as he reached the hillock, it suddenly grew dark. He looked up. The sun had already set. He gave a cry. All my labor has been in vain, thought he, and was about to stop, but he heard the Bashkirs still shouting and remembered that, though to him from below the sun seemed to have set, they on the hillock could still see it. He took a long breath and ran up the hillock. It was still light there. He reached the top and saw the cap. Before it sat the chief, laughing and holding his sides. Pahom uttered a cry. His legs gave way beneath him. He fell forward and reached the cap with his hands. Ah, that's a fine fellow, exclaimed the chief. He has gained much land. Pahom's servant came running up and tried to raise him, but he saw that blood was flowing from his mouth. Pahom was dead. The Bashkirs clicked their tongues to show their pity. His servant picked up the spade and dug a grave long enough for Pahom to lie in and buried him in it. 6 feet from his head to his heels was all he needed. Okay. Old Kinderhook.